It is the highlight of our week when we get the chance to talk to Megyn Kelly, the rock star from the United States, the free speech queen. You can see her show on YouTube, Sirius XM podcast, all the rest of it. Just look for Megyn Kelly Show, and the only place you find her on Australian telly is with us. Hello, Megyn. Happy kind of 1 week later Thanksgiving.
Hi, thank you very much. I'm excited. We're officially in the holiday season, and my house already looks like Clark Griswold's Christmas Vacation. Boom, nailed it.
So that means we got to say happy holidays for 5 weeks?
No, I refuse. I would do a happy holidays and Merry Christmas, but I'm not one of those let's retire Merry Christmas. And no normal person I've ever spoken to who doesn't celebrate Christmas gets offended.
Correct, 100%. There's an ad for M&M's that's on American telly right now. It's got a Christmas tree and it's got Santa in it, but it ends with happy holidays. It's fairly obviously a Christmas ad.
Oh, yeah. No, a couple of years ago, they tried replacing it with have a blessed winter. A blessed winter?
Oh, how can we not go a week without talking about Trump? And, of course, he has dinner with two people who have got very weird views about the Jewish community, borderline, if not outright, anti-Semites. Now, even if Donald Trump says, I didn't know they believed that, well, someone has to vet people to get anywhere near even a former president. They were invited into his house, so there's no accidental meeting here. So someone's lying.
Look, you don't have to say borderline. Nick Fuentes is actually on camera questioning whether the Holocaust took place. He compared Jews in the ovens in the Holocaust to little cookies being in the ovens, and how he doesn't think the math adds up. He doesn't believe in the number 6 million. This is a sick guy. He's a 24-year-old, know nothing. Should not have been anywhere near the former president of the United States. Now, I don't believe for 1 second that Donald Trump is an anti-Semite. He did more for Israel and American relations than any president in ever. I mean, really, at least in recent years. And he's got a daughter who's Jewish. He's got a son-in-law who's Jewish, grandchildren, and so on. He just made a colossal mistake in sitting down with these people. And yes, I include Kanye in that. And the reason he did it is because Kanye West said nice things about him. And Donald Trump judges everybody through one prism, and that is, how do you feel about him? If the answer is good, you can have access. If the answer is not good, you cannot. But this was a big blunder.
The thing I also find a bit weird is that obviously he is running for president. We saw the announcement a couple of weeks ago, but after he made the announcement that he's running for president, he's done no running for president. So nothing. I get it that he came out, he made the announcement and then just goes off to dinner. Aren't you supposed to go to Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina? Yeah.
Start the charm offensive. You know, I was just reading something about John F. Kennedy, and it was saying how JFK, when he ran back in the 50s and the 60s, he won the House, he won the Senate, and he ultimately won the presidency by doing two things. He announced early, and he outworked everybody. It seems like Donald Trump only read half of the book that I'm reading. There's another important second piece, which is then you have to work. I don't think sending out random truth socials is going to do it. And it really does sort of suggest that he decided to declare early for other reasons, maybe to block somebody, maybe to set up his financing situation in a way that worked better for him. I don't know, but he doesn't seem to be doing any of the running for president.
Will Smith has got another movie out. Don't watch it because he shouldn't be rewarded in any way, shape or form for his behaviour after the Oscars. But we get to see yet another insight into a man desperate to keep making money.
I can't even. Okay, these Hollywood celebrities who think they're something, they're all that in a biscuit. They are drunk on their own wine. And why? Why? Because they can memorize lines and repeat them in a way that's persuasive. Why am I supposed to celebrate you like you're the second coming because you can do that? Well, I don't. And most people don't. So he gets up there, behaves outrageously at the most lavish, exciting in the Hollywood industry event of the year. And now his apology tour, here's how it should go, Paul. I did something really stupid and cruel, and I'm deeply apologetic for it. I'm sorry. That's all I can tell you. I hope I earn your forgiveness. Period. You know what he's doing? Poor me. He literally went on Trevor Noah, this failing late night comedian show, and said, hurt people hurt people. Oh my God.
Oh,
no.
Stop it.
No. Why don't you explain to us about his childhood trauma? We don't care. Tell it to Oprah. Shut up.
Come on. There's a lot of damaged people in that room and they don't get up and start smacking people. But also,
right.
what I love is that, as we know, right, you say even the mildest of things on Twitter, you're cancelled, right? If he had stood up on stage after winning Best Actor and said, you know, I support life, I'm not pro-abortion, he'd never get another movie. But the idea that this guy gets a second chance and people who didn't physically assault anyone never work again kind of tells you everything about how sick that joint is.
Well, let's be honest. If Will Smith were white and had assaulted Chris Rock, a black man, at the Oscars, he would never work again a day in his life. He gets a pass because he have his skin color and because he's a huge star. And Hollywood celebrates that and values that above all else. He's rich, he's famous, and he can memorize the lines and say them just the way we like them. And let's not forget, he was starring in this movie playing King Richard, Serena and Venus Williams' father, another thing that the Hollywood left wants to celebrate. So all the stars were aligned for him. They have to act like they're mad over this one incident because they realize that the general population doesn't appreciate it, but they're not really mad. Will Smith is going to get a total pass and all the time remind us about how he's the real victim. Can I just remind you, Paul, there is a guy, his name is Lieutenant Jason Redman, and we've talked about him on my show. This is a crazy, incredibly inspirational guy. U.S. Navy SEAL, got both of his eyes shot out, U.S. Fighting it for the U.S. in Afghanistan and Iraq. He posted a sign outside of his door that said, if you're going to come in this room where I'm recovering with anything other than optimism and an attitude ready for fun, if you want to come in here and feel sorry for me, stay out. I don't want your pity here. Will Smith could take a lesson. We don't care about his childhood trauma. Go talk to your therapist. You behave badly. All we want you to hear you say is, I'm sorry, and then you get back to work quietly and humbly.
Bloody oath. 100% right. Now, just before I let you go, a couple of weeks ago, there was a terrible shooting where yet another crazy person decides to go and kill people. But because this was in what we used to call a gay bar, it became loaded with all of this extra politics. The media went wild for a couple of days. Then it turned out that the person that police believe is responsible says that he is non-binary, and the story goes away.
Ooh. It disappeared. It's so disrespectful. The way that they exploit the deceased, whose murders we should be talking about in a realistic way to try to get to the bottom of what, if anything, we can do. They exploit them. And then they run out there and act like martyrs because they say the right wing caused it. And we just don't know what to do anymore. As part of the left-wing press, we've tried to call attention to this issue. There is zero proof that the shooter in this case had any connection to, had ever seen any writings or television programs hosted by anybody on the left or right wing of this country. Zero. But the media did what it's going to do. First, they ran out and said he's got a grandfather who seemed to enjoy January 6th. He said all these controversial things about January 6th. He was a pro-Trump guy. Then they end the report with, we have no idea whatsoever whether they've ever been in touch. And then it comes out that they haven't been in touch for at least 10 years. They absolutely did not know each other. So why are you reporting on him? What does January 6th and the grandfather have to do with anything? Then it's the right wing's fault without any establishment whatsoever of a record tying the right wing to anything this guy has said or done. But then the magic comes out where we learn that this guy's actually declared himself non-binary. He's not sure if he's a woman or a man. And the media said, and we're done. And so if it doesn't fit into one of their preconceived boxes where they can push their ideological agenda, they don't cover it. It's transparent, and frankly, it's depressing.
Megyn, all the best. Look forward to seeing you, and happy holidays.
You too. Blessed winter.